Hi, we've been reading from A Course in Miracles every day from the text. Right now we're on chapter 12, which is the Holy Spirit's curriculum. And this is section 5, and it's called the Sane curriculum. The Sane curriculum. Here we go. Only love is strong because it is undivided. The strong do not attack because they do not need to do so. Before the idea of attack can enter your mind, you must have perceived yourself as weak. Because you attacked yourself and believed that the attack was effective, you behold yourself as weakened. No longer perceiving yourself and your brothers as equal and regarding yourself as weaker, you attempt to, quote, equalize the situation you made. You use attack to do so because you believe that attack was successful in weakening you. That is why the recognition of your own invulnerability is so important to the restoration of your sanity. For if you accept your invulnerability, you are recognizing that attack has no effect. Although you have attacked yourself, you will be demonstrating that nothing really happened. Therefore, by attacking, you have not done anything. Once you realize this, you will no longer see any sense in attack, for it manifestly does not work and cannot protect you. Yet the recognition of your invulnerability has more than negative value. If your attacks on yourself have failed to weaken you, you are still strong. You therefore have no need to, quote, equalize the situation to establish your strength. You will never realize the utter uselessness of attack except by recognizing that your attack on yourself has no effects. For others do react to attack if they perceive it, and if you are trying to attack them, you will be unable to avoid interpreting this as reinforcement. The only place you can cancel out all reinforcement is in yourself. For you are always the first point of your attack, and if this has never been, it has no consequences. The Holy Spirit's love is your strength, for yours is divided and therefore not real. You cannot trust your own love when you attack it. You cannot learn of perfect love with a split mind because a split mind has made itself a poor learner. You tried to make the separation eternal because you wanted to retain the characteristics of creation, but with your own content. Yet creation is not of you, and poor learners do need special teaching. Oops. Give me one moment. I just closed the book here by accident. Man, here we go. Okay. Yet creation is not of you, and poor learners do need special teaching. You have learning handicaps in a very literal sense. There are areas in your learning skills that are so impaired that you can progress only under constant, clear-cut direction provided by a teacher who can transcend your limited resources. He becomes your resource because of yourself you cannot learn. The learning situation in which you placed yourself is impossible, and in this situation you clearly require a special teacher and a special curriculum. Poor learners are not good choices as teachers, either for themselves or for anyone else. You would hardly turn to them to establish the curriculum by which they can escape from their limitations. If they understood what is beyond them, they would not be handicapped. You do not know the meaning of love, and that is your handicap. Do not attempt to teach yourself what you do not understand, and do not try to set up curriculum goals where yours have clearly failed. Your learning goal has been not to learn, and this cannot lead to successful learning. You cannot transfer what you have not learned, and the impairment of the ability to generalize is a crucial learning failure. Would you ask those who have failed to learn what learning aids are for? They do not know. If they could interpret the aids correctly, they would have learned from them. I have said that the ego's rule is, quote, seek and do not find, unquote. Translated into curricular terms, this means, quote, try to learn but do not succeed, unquote. The result of this curriculum goal is obvious. Every legitimate teaching aid, every real instruction, and every sensible guide to learning will be misinterpreted, since they are all for facilitating the learning this strange curriculum is against. If you are trying to learn how not to learn, and the aim of your teaching is to defeat itself, what can you expect but confusion? Such a curriculum does not make sense. This attempt at, quote, learning, unquote, has so weakened your mind that you cannot love, for the curriculum you have chosen is against love and amounts to a course in how to attack yourself. A supplementary goal in this curriculum is learning how not to overcome the split that makes its primary aim believable. And you will not overcome the split in this curriculum, for all your learning will be on its behalf. Yet your mind speaks against your learning as your learning speaks against your mind, and so you fight against all learning and succeed, for that is what you want. But perhaps you do not realize, even yet, that there is something you want to learn, and that you can learn it because it is your choice to do so. You have tried to learn what you do not want you who have tried to learn what you do not want should take heart, for although the curriculum you set yourself is depressing indeed, it is merely ridiculous if you look at it. Is it possible that the way to achieve a goal is not to attain it? Resign now as your own teacher. This resignation will not lead to depression. It is merely the result of an honest appraisal of what you have taught yourself and of the learning outcomes that have resulted. Under the proper learning conditions, which you can neither provide nor understand, you will become an excellent learner and an excellent teacher. But it is not so yet, and will not be so until the whole learning situation as you have set it up is reversed. Your learning potential, properly understood, is limitless because it will lead you to God. You can teach the way to Him and learn it if you follow the teacher who knows the way to Him and understands his curriculum for learning it. The curriculum is totally unambiguous because the goal is not divided and the means and the end are in complete accord. You need offer only undivided attention. Everything else will be given you. For you really want to learn aright, and nothing can oppose the decision of God's Son. His learning is as unlimited as He is. Okay, this is pretty... Jesus is really giving it to us straight here. It's the tough, it's the level one. Resign now as your own teacher. It's the great quote here. Resign now as your own teacher. You have failed. Everything that you throw out everything you think you know. You think that you are able to judge things correctly. You have the truth. You know the truth. And Jesus is saying, no. If you are, if you get upset, if you get angry, if you get disturbed, if you feel a lack, if you feel deprivation, if you get depressed, if you in any way are not feeling unconditional love, peace, and joy, you do not realize that you have followed the wrong teacher, and you continue to do so, and you may think that you have a special sense for what the truth is, and you know what the right thing is in every situation, or in certain situations, like with the person, for example, that broke up with you or something like that. Well, Jesus is saying, well, think again. That consider your ego investment in everything. Who in this world is unbiased? Who in this world does not have some investment in what they believe? And generally that investment is from some ego need, some ego desire that is not in accord with reality. It's illusory. And that's why this course is so challenging, and Jesus is being very challenging here. Resign now as your own teacher. You are a poor learner. You have learned from the ego, And you continue to learn from the ego because we have been very conditioned to see things in accordance with the ego. You do not know the meaning of love, and that is your handicap. Now, this course is pointing to an experience of perfect love. It's bringing us to what the course calls revelation, what Jesus calls revelation, which is that experience of our true nature beyond the ego. Once we have that experience, we've had a glimpse. We know what that feels like. That will then help us to understand the course better, and it will help to better inform how we live in this world. And we will start to learn that attack is never justified. Anger is never justified. Forgiveness is always justified. Judgment is never justified. We can never justify it. We just do not know. There's no way in the world that we know the truth in this world. We do not know the meaning of love. Even those of us who have had the revelation or have had a glimpse or an experience of that in some moment where we've had that glimpse, whether in a vision, whether it's been in a dream, whether it's been at the end of a yoga class, whether it was on ayahuasca or some psychedelic like LSD, whether it was in the middle of a breathwork session, whether it was lovemaking session, wherever it was, where you've tapped into that, and you've gone beyond the ego, and you've realized the non-existence of the ego. Still, you come back, and there's still work to do, and then you have to integrate that into the rest of your life, and you have to look critically in light of that experience at everything you think and everything you do and everything you say. You have to bring a certain vigilance, and otherwise, if you haven't had that experience, that kind of experience, then you probably are not even on the spiritual journey because most people have that experience and then they go on the journey. But some people don't. And the journey leads you there. And some people have that experience, just it happens, however it might happen, through an accident, through getting struck by lightning, whatever it might be. But the ego, Jesus says, basing on what he was saying earlier, the ego is all about seek and do not find. Keep seeking, but never find. You're never going to find what you're really looking for, which is love, because you're looking in all the wrong places and all the wrong faces. So as long as you're following the ego and not listening to that still small voice of the Holy Spirit, which reminds you all is well. God is in God's kingdom. All is well. And it's always been that way. And you can either get with that or you can get with this. It's one or the other. So that was the last chapter that we read, chapter 11, which is God or the ego. Which one do you want? God gives you everything, the ego gives you nothing. And if you haven't realized that, you will. You will realize that the ego offers you nothing, but it holds out the hope that you will get something. That's it. The seek and do not find, or seek but do not find. Right? There's the hope that you will find something, but you won't. All right, I think that's good for this section. Resign now as your own teacher. Okay, thank you.